Good morning, everybody. We are assigned to do the training for the Rank to Ruby page today, and we're going to talk about comp plan, but we're not going to talk about it the way that you think that we are.
No, we want to make sure that when we've been talking about these color perspectives and how all of us kind of respond to information, and really want to make sure today that for yourself as well as for your team and your future team and your perspectives, that you are making the most of what it is we have in the comp plan. And we know that for some personalities, Phil and I are both the red, the comp plan comes a little bit easier because we are driven and motivated by knowing the bottom line, by knowing crunching the numbers and knowing what we get out of what we put in. We also know that greens might know the comp plan well because they're research little gurus and they love to kind of dig in and get to the details. If you are a blue, you might be paying attention to the Lexus and to the trip and to the fun you might have,
Right.
But not really to the numbers and the details for sure.
You hear party, trip, free Lexus, and that's it. They're sold. I'll worry about the details later. Let's go.
And then so many of you are yellow, and yellows want to help everyone. And so sometimes we think that the comp plan and talking about the comp plan makes us uncomfortable because we feel like we're not really leading with the way we can help people. We're leading with bottom line, how maybe they can help you. And we hope today that we can kind of help have a kind of a mind shift and think differently, because here's the deal, guys. Most people that we want to all help feel better and look better and take care of and have a better quality of life, most people are not awake during the night thinking about losing those extra pounds or thinking about their indigestion unless it's actually keeping them up, right? But many people, ourselves included in the past, would wake up in the middle of the night worried about how we're going to pay the $300 here or the car payment there or keep the lights on or get groceries. So we want to kind of empower you today that the comp plan can be your friend, even if you're a yellow or a blue, by giving you some help in understanding how to present it in a way that helps people understand the power of the potential of this opportunity.
All right, so let's level set. Let's not assume that everyone knows when you start talking about colors what that means. Okay, so as we've been talking about training and making sure that we're training our teams, there are 4 different color personality types: red, yellow, blue, and green. Mm-hmm. So red personality is what?
We're driven by the bottom line.
Bottom line, numbers, bang, bang, bang. Don't give me the details. I'm smart enough to figure it out. And then let's go. Bulls, right? Red is a bull.
A little bit.
Then you've got your blues. Okay? So blue.
Party people.
Party. I want to have fun. If it's not fun, I'm out. So you got to make it fun. Greens.
All about the knowledge. They want to know research.
Are they going to sit in the front or the back?
Always the back.
Almost always. Are they going to be mostly optimistic or fairly skeptical?
They're going to be our skeptics.
Okay. And then yellows.
Just want to help people, want to feel good. Everybody needs to know that I'm here for them, not necessarily for my opportunity or for my products.
Right. Gotcha. I'm going to try and do some managing here real quick. And there we go. Not sure why we're seeing this on the screen versus us. Okay. So that's the level setting on the personality types. Now, depending on which personality type you are, you may have more or less difficulty in sharing the compensation plan. But the important thing to know is if you want to get to Ruby, which is why you're on this call and why you're a part of this page, you have to understand the compensation plan inside and out, backwards and forwards, to be able to share it with each one of these different personality types. So if you haven't done that yet, part of your homework is going to be understanding the compensation plan inside and out, to where if you are asked any specific question, for example, when do you qualify for the Plexus Lexus, specifically, which part, where in the month would you actually qualify, and then when do the payments start, and what do you have to do to actually get that payment, and what does it look like, then you don't understand the comp plan inside and out. Okay, so that level of detail, it'll probably take you a couple hours at night and some quizzing but I promise you, you need to understand at that level no matter what your personality type is moving forward.
And here's the deal, guys. Everything that we need to know is at your fingertips. You have it in your back office under library. You have it in your quick start guide or your welcome kit. If you've gotten that since January, there's several different pieces of information there. A pamphlet, there's a booklet. There's lots of training on YouTube from ambassadors, including there's one there from Phil. Your upline, but I want you, and Phil wants you, we want you to dig in first, learn what you can, and then go ask the questions specifically when you get kind of stuck or maybe confused.
Right. Okay, so once you know the insides and outs, one of the best ways to share the compensation plan, the way you should do it, is succinctly and by giving an example. Rather than say, well, there's 11 ways you get paid, and let's spend the next hour talking about them. Most people, unless you're a green, will be out. And really, most people will not have an hour to dedicate that. But giving them a specific example in their life. And one of the best ways to do that is to find out, their why. Find out what it is in their life that they're needing or problem that you can help solve right away. So Jen mentioned being able to have grocery money or being able to take care of our car payment. So what you need to be able to do is figure out, okay, and this is where the mental math comes in. And because you've sharpened your sword and you understand the comp plan inside and out, you can practice this and do this every time. So Jen, example would be, Jen, you shared with me that you've got a car payment that's $436 a month. Sometimes you have trouble making it. What if I showed you a simple way in the next 60 days you could actually cover that car payment from working from home without taking on a second job? Would that be something that you'd be interested in and would be life-changing for you?
Right. And here's what he did with that question. He really touched on all 4 personalities, and even if we can stretch it for the blues, because if you know that your car payment's paid, you're going to be having more fun. But he asked, do I need the help? Yellow, if you're a yellow personality, you're interested in seeing people help you and helping others. So that was there. If they're red, he used numbers so that the numbers speak. If you're not using numbers with reds, then they're not seeing the value necessarily in what you're talking about, or they don't really necessarily believe you. And then greens, he said, let me show you how to do this so that you understand without getting an extra job, without, what else did you say? He said another little piece of detailed information, and then you're going to walk them through that. That's going to appeal to the green. So a lot of times, again, we out of our own experience are afraid or hesitant to share, when if you're actually using the right verbiage, and it's going to take some practice, you're going to be able to appeal to all 4 color types.
Okay, so here's an example that we use on our opportunity call that we typically do every Monday. And it's something that we did in the math, and now we've got it essentially memorized. So in this example, in Jen's first full month, she recruited 6 new ambassadors, sold $1,800 in PV. She had 6 preferred customers, and then 3 of those ambassadors that she recruited turned points or did over $100 in PV. So I break down for this on the opportunity call when we've done this in person, where the dollars come from. So, the silver rank bonus. So I'm covering the comp plan, but in a way that's tangible and relatable, giving a specific example. Notice there that when I do this at the bottom there, I've got the disclosure statement on income. But the whole point is that you need to be able to do this for yourself. And if you didn't earn $500 or more in your first month, that's okay. It doesn't have to be in your first month. If you've got examples of your leaders, or you've got examples in your own life that maybe were 6 or 7 months down the road when you finally kind of got it, that's okay too. Just find an example that can relate to their situation. And usually that $500 number is the magic number, okay?
And when you're using a piece of paper or an instrument or even a picture like this, it will keep you on track. It's just like when you're making notes or keeping an outline, make sure you have something in front of you. One thing that I love to do, my team knows, we've talked about this ad nauseum, is that I printed off the comp plan summary sheet. That is, you can find in your library, in your back office. I laminated it, and then I carry that with me so that when I know I'm going to speak with a potential business partner or even a wholesale ambassador, I walk them through some of those numbers. Now, what we love about our opportunity screenshot that Phil just showed you is it's less to kind of process at one time. You can give that person that you're talking to the assurance that they don't have to understand it all right now. You're the expert, remember? And if you're the expert, they're going to believe you. You're more believable, but you're also, it gives them some value to what it is that you're saying, because you're not like, well, I know I've made lots of money with this company, but I can't really explain to you how. That doesn't go very far.
Right. That's why you have to, again, at the first point of this video, you have to spend the time mastering the comp plan and knowing it inside and out. Every small detail. And if that's not in your wheelhouse, I understand it, I can appreciate it, but it can't be an excuse. You have to just do the hard stuff now, so it's easier later on. So one easy way, as I'm thinking about this, to illustrate making $500, one easy way is if you use just one example. So for basically, if numbers scare you, if you do $2,100 in personal volume, that's $500 in income, because the first $100 goes to Plexus. There's $2,000. 25% of $2,000 is $500. That doesn't take into account preferred customer bonuses, business building bonuses, all the other factors, right? So if you want to keep it simple and you want someone that you're in front of someone that you know has a potential of a lot of customers or could go out there and hustle, that's one way they can make $500. I think it's also important to emphasize when you're talking about the compensation plan, how easy it is that they don't have to stock up on volume. They don't have to actually put stuff in their garage, that they get a website within the first few minutes of registering so they can start sharing immediately, and that you can show them the power of three and other examples of which, and a Frank's list, right? Friends, relatives, associates, neighbors, kids connections, social organizations, all these different avenues of people that they could go out and reach and touch to hit that mark.
Yeah, I think a lot of times what we hear is that, and this is switching gears just a bit, is that people want to compare comp plans. Maybe they've come from a network marketing business or company, and they say, well, how does your comp plan compare to XYZ? And we really, guys, don't have to get stuck. The Greens would tend to be like, oh, wait a second, let me go research everything there is to know about this other company's comp plan. That's not your job. Your job is to set Plexus apart. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight the things that our comp plan does give us, and then encourage them to go look at theirs and challenge them to see if it does the same. We are confident that it doesn't. Like Phil said, there's little to no inventory, right? You're only buying your own products. And even at that, that's not required. The investment is unheard of. $35, are you kidding me? We don't have the overhead. We have a back office that works and is really detailed and supportive for us. We have our replicated websites. There's, like I said, no personal minimums. And really, you can start being paid immediately as soon as you start sharing, guys, right? You have your website. You can start sharing and get paid on that following Friday. So within 7 to 10 days of signing up as a new ambassador, they can receive money in hand. Those are the kinds of things that you also need to know and are proficient in talking about, so that people can understand, even if they don't get all of the numbers, and even if you don't get all of the numbers yet, you have something in your pocket that adds value when sharing this opportunity.
And when you're sharing it, and we're going to open up for questions here in a few minutes, when you're sharing the opportunity, so again, it's great to have an example, and we want to know the personality type. You want to tailor that, the way that you share it, to the personality type. So for example, I know Jen's a red. I'm going to give her the details and show her how she can make money right now. And I'm going to give that example the first month. If Jen were a yellow, I would open with, you know what I love about this compensation plan? I'm able to help people change their lives from a health perspective, but also a wealth perspective.
And you might even then give examples of personal people that you've seen be able to help build an orphanage, be able to help start some other kind of fund, be able to take care of their family on a trip they never thought they would be able to go on. Give specific examples.
So with a blue, I would open with, you know what I love about the compensation plan? You have the ability to go on some of the most amazing paid-for trips, get a brand spanking new car paid for Lexus, and you build this family that you can literally go out and create these amazing relationships and do things that you've never imagined doing. So you're selling the sizzle versus the steak to a blue.
Right. And then with greens, they got to see the numbers and they got to know why it works. And so going back and even maybe referring to your upline, or like Phil said, a successful month for you and your own business, and really break it down and show them how you're acquiring the dollars that you have earned.
Okay. So what are the notes we have before we open up for questions?
I think the other thing before we get to questions, and we know this is kind of a straight and narrow kind of heavy conversation to have, is that despite your personality, like Phil said, you can no longer, you guys are in this group for a reason. You want to be pushed and you want to be challenged. And so our challenge today to you, after being in Kona for a week, our third trip in a row, is that no matter what your color is, that's not an excuse. That's not a reason for holding back. The majority of the diamonds that are there are reds. That doesn't mean that if you're not red, you can't become a diamond. It just probably means you're going to have to work and push yourself outside of your comfort zone more than you really are or have planned to.
And blues.
And blues. Yeah, for sure, blues. Time is going to pass whether we want it to or not. And with time passing, our urgency for seeing things happen decreases. I could challenge most of you, if I talk to you personally, that maybe today you are not as excited about this Rank to Ruby page as maybe you were the first time you signed up, because we're at September 19th, looking at your numbers and seeing where you're at. Are you on track to hit your goals for this month? Maybe you need to reevaluate and reset. So that's why we wanted to talk about this too, because with the urgency disappearing, guess what's going to happen? You're going to miss continued opportunities. If we're yellow or we're green and we're like, well, I'm going to wait until I understand this fully before I start sharing, or I'm going to wait until the right opportunity comes to me before I give it to someone, your opportunity is going to go into somebody else's hands and they're going to grab it, take it, and run. So we want to see you guys be able to grab every opportunity, seize the moment, and really be able to pinpoint for those people. And it really just comes down to listening to them, connecting quickly with what their color is, and then going in with the information that you have. And you don't have to know. Like Phil and I are challenging you, we want you to learn the compensation plan inside and out. And this week we're going to give you some individual tidbits and challenges to kind of help you with that. But don't let it stop you from sharing today with somebody, because you don't have to be armed 100% in order to make an impact.
I'll say this as I'm thinking about it, and it's a little off topic, but it still applies. So we're in Kona with 400 other jewels, so a total of 800 people there. And in our resort was about 30 minutes north of downtown Kona, this nice little shopping area and whatnot. By the fourth day, we went down and was doing some shopping and talking to different vendors, just looking for stuff. Every single one of them, somehow Plexus came up in the conversation. And here's what I thought was humorous and really apropos. There's a reason why there are jewels in Kona, because every single shop owner that we came across had heard about Plexus at least 10 times by the time we got there on the third or fourth day. And some of them could even tell us all the details of what Plexus was and what it did. Most of them had gotten multiple samples, but the point is this:
business cards, yeah.
The reason that the way that you get to Ruby and then get to Emerald, Silver, or Emerald, Sapphire, and Diamond is that you are constantly sharing and giving it a shot.
And it doesn't mean, guys, just because we're focusing on this today and we're encouraging you to focus on this, doesn't mean that we are discounting any of the other amazing things that Plexus does. We already know we have awesome products. We already know that they're life-changing and can give people hope and freedom and balance, and the list will go on and on and on. But I think that's our go-to, and our go-to sometimes is not going to always be the trigger point for people to actually jump in. And so if you've shared with lots of people and you're not getting to the close, you're not getting them to join, I want to challenge you to really take some good time to reflect and see, are you presenting this whole picture, and are you leaving this huge component out? Because I know that the income, while the health benefits for us have been life-changing and we will not stop using the products, the income part of it has been what's really changed the future for us. And we want that for you guys, and we know that there are people waiting to receive that information from you, and if they don't hear it from you, they're going to hear it from somebody else.
Okay, so to recap, The homework, I should grab the water. The homework is to spend a couple hours of non-income producing time. So late at night or early in the morning, understanding the comp plan, quizzing yourself, doing little homework assignments. Think of like old school algebra where you've got an equation and you've got to solve it. So someone needs to make $700, need you to figure out how many different ways they can make $700 or $500 or $200. So that way when it's live and you have the opportunity to do it, you can pull out a piece of paper and scratch out for them the ways that they can do it in the comp plan. Then you need to go out and go back to some of those people that you've spoken to or reach out to new people and be confident in sharing, you know what is amazing about this comp plan or what's amazing about Plexus besides the products, it's the opportunity to get them paid for and do other things that will change your life, depending on, the personality type, using the example I gave you earlier. And that should lead to the natural result, which is my favorite, and that's closing. So that's for another time, another topic.
We did that last week.
We did it last week, so check it out. Okay, so I will allow you all to unmute yourselves, and let's, if there are any questions, let's go for it now.
I'm sure there are.
Go back to the gallery view here.
There's hands up.
Either raise your hand or just unmute yourself.
Surely there's a question.
Surely.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey guys, I'm such a green, so I love to research everything. So and I'm not gonna slow myself down or stop, but I'm so interested in the color thing. And I'm just wondering, I missed the first couple minutes. Is there a book or something about that? Or was there a good training to go to about the colors?
So two things. Yes, there's a book. It's a quick read. It's literally 100 pages, I think.
Okay.
And it's titled help me out, babe.
It's the colors by Al Schrader.
Yeah.
Big Al colors. I can't remember the name of the book, and it's green is sitting in. But I will tell you, Heather also did 7-minute videos on each of the colors, basically from her notes from the book. So those are here posted on the from the very first week on the Rank to Ruby page. So if you use the search tool at the top and do color personalities, you can go through. Go and look at yours first and see if that really is who you are. Make kind of check, and then go back and look at the others. And maybe, again, we're going to give you some opportunity this week to really practice this and put it into use. The other thing we did not want to do today is to spoon feed you. You are all at a point where you are leaders or aspiring leaders, and us giving you a detailed example and walking you through it is not going to teach you as much as you going and doing it yourself. And then if it falls apart, reach out to somebody to kind of say, wait a second, I got totally lost here and I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Somebody can help correct. But we're really past the stage of, here, let's do this. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Melissa is showing us her book.
Yeah.
You see that, Katie?
The 4 color personalities for MLM. That's the name of it.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, Lori's showing us.
Yeah.
Such good little helpers. Thank y'all.
Yeah, teach a person or give a person a fish, you feed them for a day. Teach them to fish, you feed them for life. So we're making you go out and do the equations and do the hard work. Other questions?
I was just, go ahead. I was just actually going to add something because I am, before I signed on with Jen, I was a total green. I went and researched every popular health product compensation plan out there. I also went to non-biased websites and read what makes
You went muted on us.
I'm trying, I'll let her. There we go.
How long was I muted?
About 10 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, you're okay.
Anyways, I had researched all kinds of compensation plans and went to non-biased websites and read what makes people successful in network marketing as far as the compensation plan. And Plexus definitely came up for every single point on that. I don't even remember where it was. I wish I could find it. That was 2 years ago. But it came up every single point that what makes people successful is what Plexus compensation plan allows. And so that's what gave me the confidence in the beginning. So I'm a total green in that way. But I'm also yellow in a way because I have struggled with wanting to talk about the business. I don't want to talk about how much money I'm making. I feel like that's very private. I don't want that to be the focus. But I think what has made me overcome that as a yellow is I used to go to sleep at night, just like y'all were talking about, wondering how we were going to make it. And so I think knowing that of my own and doing that and feeling that way, I know that the money that I have made should be talked about because it has made such a huge difference. And that's how I've overcome that as a yellow.
That's great, Sharon. Yeah, and that's thank you for sharing that. The important thing to know is that you are not alone if you are having those thoughts that I'm laying at night and, am I going to be able to pay this bill? And then conversely, you have to be able to push outside your own comfort zones and realize that you're not necessarily talking about your own compensation. Here's what I've done. So if you're yellow, that might sound like it's braggadocious. But just giving an example of what is potentially available helps people see the opportunity. So it doesn't necessarily have to be you. It can be someone else. You can borrow it. You can just essentially outline, like I talked about, doing the homework, and here's a way to earn $500. I would also encourage you to say, here's a way to earn $5,000, because that's going to speak to some reds and some blues as well.
And you want those on your team.
Yeah, that's right.
And just remember, anytime you have fear, it's false evidence appearing real. So in your own mind, it seems very real and valid to think, no, I cannot share with Karen what this opportunity could be for her. But then until I give myself that opportunity and her the opportunity to say, no, that's not what I was thinking at all, Jen, or whatever, because I think a lot of times we replay or we play out in our head what we think the conversation is going to look like if we go there. And many times it's nowhere near. And if it does, guys, if it does go down a trail like, well, all you're about is money, then you need to be armed again with, actually, no, because I've been able to see this person do this because of their Plexus business, and this family adopt a baby without having to raise funds and because of their Plexus business, and this family being able to take care of their homeschooled children. The list, there are example after example after example. Just go watch some Diamond documentaries.
Right.
And you can arm yourself easily with that kind of information.
Good. Other questions?
Delana, did you have a question or a comment?
Mine was off topic because of y'all just coming back from Kona. I'm dying to know if there's anything you want to share about that, because in the meetings, conversations poolside.
So let's do this. I'm going to, if there's, we'll pause that if there are, and we'll come back to it. Are there any other questions before I start the recording at this time about the comp plan? And then we'll come back to that, Delana.
Sounds good.
Hey, you know what? I've actually given numbers to several people before, and they sort of shut down. And so I'm wondering if, and I'm just now learning about personality colors, and I'm obsessed with it now. But I'm wondering if I was talking to a yellow or several yellows at that time, and that's why they didn't. I guess that's where I'm like, how important are the numbers to yellows? They're not.
So the important thing, okay, so
The yellows are shaking their head no.
yes,
they're not important.
So it's
They're not
about
important.
showing how the compensation plan can help them help
Help people.
others.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still important because at the end of the day, you want everyone on your team understanding how the compensation works, even if they are a yellow, because once they join, if they're going to help other people, they're going to be helping reds and blues. And if they can't explain the comp plan to a red or a blue because it wasn't explained to them, then you're not going to grow. It's all about growth. If you're not growing, you're going. That's the name of the game, gang. I hate to tell it to you, but I'm just going to give it to you straight.
Jen, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Jenny, and I'm extremely yellow, but I'm also extremely in debt. And for me to have somebody say, this is what you need to do so you can make your house payment or so you can pay those bills, that would be really practical, and that would I'd be so happy to be helped in that way. It's true, I wasn't enticed by the Lexus at first, although I could use a car now. And I wasn't necessarily enticed by the trips at first, but the idea of doing something fun is really inviting to me right now too. But definitely having those practical steps of this is what you can do so that you can pay that particular bill. That's terrific.
Good.
Agree.
And Jen, I think Jenny just answered your question, your point, or made your point. So yes, agreed.
Yeah, the critical piece is that it's personal. I think we get a lot of times in front of somebody and we're so anxious because somebody's finally said yes that we tend to bomb at Plexus on them, or we talk, and then we're like, you want to do it? Okay, or let me know. You know, we kind of get scared at the end, and that's the whole other thing with the close. But if we are not asking questions, what's the number amount that would make a difference in your life right now for you? For some people, it's going to be, well, I just want to get my products paid for. I don't really need money. Okay, you know where they stand with that, and you know how to go down that conversation should be directed at. You can easily do that with our comp plan, because if you did X, Y, and Z, you'd have that paid for in a month or two. If it's, gosh, I need a house. I need to retire my husband. I know there's some people on our team whose husband's jobs right now are not good. I need my husband to be at home, and I need to be able to replace his income. Okay? You need to be able to show them how to make $10,000 in a month. And for most of you, that scares the crud out of you, and so you just stay away from it, and so you don't ask the question. The numbers can help you. The numbers are there to guide you, but you got to ask the question. And then if that's the deal, like Jenny said, if it's about her house payment, then you better bet you need to give her information to show her how she can make her house payment. Or you can talk about helping people all day long, but it's not ultimately going to matter to her that she can feel empowered to make it happen. And we can talk about lots of things that make us feel warm and fuzzy, but don't call us to action. And so I think we can get stuck there with talking about our products and not empowering people with the numbers, with the concept or the comp plan, without talking about how to make it happen.
One more thing I want to share, and that relates to this, because you're getting all heated up and passionate, which I love. That is the most important ingredient to sharing the compensation plan. Passion, okay? Because your passion will lead to boldness. Your boldness will lead to action. Your action always leads to results, and then the results refuel your passion. So if you are sharing the comp plan like, hey, there's, what do you need to make, $500? Okay, you can actually do that, I think. Let me kind of go through some math here. Versus $500, that's it. Yeah, let me show you how I can do that next month.
Yeah.
Right? There's a
because
difference.
even if you haven't done it, guess what? The way the comp plan is set up, somebody underneath you can do it and make 3 times that the next month. Sometimes we limit ourselves because you're like, well, I've never made more than $1,000 with Plexus, so I can't talk to that. That is bull, because there are people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month with our comp plan, and who are we to say that the next person that you talk to doesn't have what it takes to do that? And I think we limit ourselves by our own experience sometimes to think, well, I'm going to be the one, my team's only going to do as much as I do, never more. Not true.
Past performance is not a predictor of future results. Yeah, another question.
One quick leader's question. When you have people come on your team and your ambassadors are telling you they just want to do wholesale, I'm pretty sure you probably don't leave it at that, and maybe, or do you? Give me tips on how to dig down.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Get into those people. I mean, we put them on our team page. I am trying to get better about calling them and having a one-on-one connection with them. I love what you said, Jen, about what amount would you need to make a difference in your family. That's a great question to lead with, even for somebody who says, oh, I don't want to do this as a business. You could still ask that in a way once you learn their color. But anyway, I just want to hear what you guys do, because I feel like there's a lot I'm probably leaving on the table for my people. If I could get their people to do, then, it helps them as well.
So I think that's a great question, and I think that we probably all struggle with that because we don't, when somebody's all in, you know where they stand and you know how to kind of direct and have a conversation. If you leave, there's a couple of things. You have to make you have to give them the best customer service possible. And I think sometimes we all, myself included, drop the ball in that, because if they're getting an auto ship and we feel like they're in the team page, so they're visibly maybe seeing what we're doing, then we're tapping in. We're really not. So we have to be better at our customer service with them. Sorry, our house is getting cleaned at the moment, so there's ambient noise in the background. So make sure you're asking the questions about, but then also say, hey, who else is noticing? Who else is seeing that you're feeling better? Who else is, because what you're doing is you're just tapping into them saying, oh, well, my mom, yeah, or my daughter, or my friend at work. Then that's where you jump in and go, well, they could be buying from you, and set it up really casually, really easily.
Like it.
I mean, you could be making $20 or $30 extra just from them ordering off your website. You're not doing anything. And you can offer in those situations, dependent on the situation, you can offer to say, I would be happy to help answer their questions about the products while you're learning with me.
Three-way call.
And get them involved in a three-way call or a three-way conversation online so that they can see how easy it is to share just a little bit of information. And that's your leadership kind of being tweaked, because you're stepping in where you typically wouldn't, maybe necessarily with a business builder, but there still could be value, because if they just see how easy that is. One of our top hitters right now on our team sat as a wholesale user for a year, did not share with a single person. And she, on average, in the last 6 months, has added probably at least 3 people to her team every month, if not more. So that potential is always there. And connect it to whatever their purpose is. Maybe, we've also had somebody that says, the money doesn't interest me. I don't need the money, but I have never gone to Hawaii and I would really love to.
Right.
Yeah. They open the door for you to share the comp plan number.
Right. Good.
That's good. You're actually digging. Sorry, I've got an echo, but okay. So you're digging down and even as a customer service, like calling and.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure. Are you happy with the product? I like it. And had some white lines pointing out maybe why they were going from there. Sorry.
I even think it's before they become white, right? It's
Yeah.
It's got products, and I know you've got this for the wholesale. Are you happy with the results you're seeing? We find that so many people, it's almost selfish not to share. And I would even dig deep and try and find what the objection is. So I know when you came on board, you didn't want to share, but now we've gotten to know each other a little bit. You're having some success. Tell me what that fear is. Because it comes down to, there's a fear there. Either a fear of rejection, a fear of multi-level marketing and what that means. There's something there behind it, and you got to get to the root of it. And then you can get them to open up, find out, and potentially get them to move forward.
And I would just say conversely is that, and we're going to be digging down in this with our team, do not go trying to revive the dead. We have talked about this over and over and over again. If you have a ton of white lines, be really, really careful where you spend your time trying to revive. Because if you're spending the majority of your time trying to meet objection over objection to win somebody back, you're missing out on the opportunity. The best place to get people is new, because new people are excited. Everything is new, shiny, bright. The opportunity is unlimited. That's where you want to spend your time. So don't go trying to dig out of a ditch necessarily those little white lines.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you all for joining. I'll answer some other questions